Okay guys, welcome to another review. This is Joshua, Future Filmmaker 3940 Reviews. I talk films, TV, and music here on this channel. Talking about the biggest superhero movie that has been anticipated besides Justice League and the Suicide Squad, and the biggest anticipated movie of the year, besides Dune and such. Spider-Man No Way Home, the third entry in the Tom Holland era of Spider-Man movies. This is the sequel to Spider-Man Homecoming and the sequel to Spider-Man Far From Home. The 27th entry in the MCU. This is the 11th entry or 9th entry in the Spider-Man series if you choose to count Venom or Spider-Verse. This is directed once again by Jon Watts, written by Chris McKenna and Eric Sommers, and stars Tom Holland replaying Spider-Man, Zendaya, Benedict Cumberbatch, Jacob Batalon, Benedict Wong, Tony Revolori, Marissa Tomei, and two other big surprises that unfortunately the internet can't even hide. So this is going to be a very vague review. I'm not going to go into spoilers until I feel like I want to do spoiler talk about it on the podcast channel and such, but let's talk about this. No Way Home picks up exactly where Far From Home left off, with Spider-Man's identity now revealed. Our friendly neighborhood web slinger is unmasked and no longer able to separate his normal life as Peter Parker from the high stakes of being a superhero. When Peter asks Doctor Strange for help, the stakes become even more dangerous, forcing him to discover what it means to truly be Spider-Man. And the multiverse opens and allows 5 villains from alternate realities who have fought their own versions of Peter to enter inside the universe. That's all I'm going to say, spoiler free, because I don't want to spoil anything for you. I'm so excited to talk about this. Okay, so Spider-Man No Way Home. Of course, this movie, just like every other Spider-Man fan out there, after that ending of Far From Home, we were all like, where do you go from here? And so, of course, this movie has been hit with a lot of excitement. But it's also been plagued a little bit because of the whole Sony and Disney Marvel deal they had to redo after Spider-Man was taken out of the MCU, which that is a long story. But we got Spider-Man back in the MCU now under new ground, with him to be in the MCU and the other universe created by Sony. And this was definitely one of my most anticipated projects of 2021. Not just from Marvel, but also in the year. And this movie has been the worst kept secret on social media, because no matter where you go or such, there's always someone trying to give their own predictions, their own spoilers, and their own rumors about this. And as a Spider-Man fan, I wasn't going to let that ruin it. I, of course, love the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies. Spider-Man 1 is amazing. Spider-Man 2 is even better. Spider-Man 3, every time I watch it, I love it even more. And it is still my favorite of the trilogy. And it was my favorite Spider-Man movie for a while. Then we have to get the mediocre but heavily disappointing, frustrating, Amazing Spider-Man movies, which I don't hate as much as other people. I do kind of have some bone to pick with the first movie. The second movie I do like, but it still has problems, but I can enjoy it. But they're fine. And I really loved what they've done with Tom in Spider-Man Homecoming and Far From Home, even from Civil War. The Venom movies, of course, they're not counted, but I think they're fine. But once again, just like the Amazing Spider-Man movies, not as good as they should be, of course, with Sony and their whole thing with them not letting them be villains R-rated. Spider-Verse is actually my favorite of the Spider-Man movies right now. It has been since 2018, and Spider-Man to the Spider-Verse, that made such a big impact on me that I was kind of interested to see more of it, and we're gonna get more. But when it comes to Spider-Man No Way Home, this movie definitely had a lot riding on its shoulders. Not only because you have to follow up two great MCU Spider-Man entries, but you had to really go for the balls that you did here. And I know initially there was some people out there online who was calling this just a nostalgia movie, and when they announced the multiverse and the array of villains and what was going to happen, a lot of us was worried, including myself. I was like, you're just doing the Spider-Verse treatments except in the MCU format. But having watched this movie today, I mean a few days ago, not too long ago. Sorry, didn't mean to say that. I was able to watch this earlier on the 15th, and without spoiling a single thing, I can confidently say not only this is one of the best movies 2021 has to offer, but this is my favorite of the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, for sure. Now, if you are someone who's not been on board with Tom Holland, I don't think this is going to do you any favors. But for me personally, as someone who was very happy to see this character in the MCU back 5-6 years ago, it's got them 5 years ago with Civil War, I love this. There's a lot I love. Starting off with the positives of this, of course, we have to talk about it. Of course, Far From Home set this up in this ending, and I'm gonna address it here. This movie definitely goes for its ambition in terms of the direction it goes. I want to talk about the direction by Jon Watts first in this story, of course. This movie takes a bold choice and a bold risk in dealing with Peter's identity crisis from the last movie at the end of it. This movie definitely shows that everyone knows who he is now, and not only with that, the consequences of the actions from the last movie, which is something I definitely feel they were definitely going to go into at some point, but I just didn't know how we were going to expect it. And the way Jon Watts directs it and executes it is absolutely brilliant. You see the vulnerability and the whole responsibility that Peter has to take to truly be Spider-Man. And this movie definitely goes for it. It is exactly what everybody wants to see. And on top of that, you definitely get exactly what you come here for. This movie pulls no punches when it comes to that. On top of that, of course, you have the emotional weight and the emotional stakes that are there. You feel that not everyone around Peter is safe. You feel the weight of this on Peter's shoulders. How can it affect him? How it will affect everyone. And I feel like the movie definitely justifies existence in terms of that. It definitely goes that route. And I'm very happy that it took until now to finally go through it, because at some point we have to at least have this version of Spider-Man go through even more vulnerability than he's went through before. He might be a friendly neighborhood hero, but at the same time he's just a kid. And they definitely don't forget about that. They definitely do go along with it, and it's very ambitious of them to do that. I think with that weight of the story and with the direction and the screenplay writing especially, this easily could have been another Case of the Amazing Spider-Man 2 or Spider-Man 3 situation, which I still love Spider-Man 3. This could have been another one of those cases, but they actually decided not to go that route. You don't get to go through the whole origins phase again of the villains. The villains are already established from previous movies, and it basically connects those other set of movies along here with this, and I very much appreciated what it was trying to do there. Just on top of the technical aspects, the cinematography, the direction, and the editing, and the musical score, and the action sequences, all of them are top notch. Everything in this movie is top notch. This is a $200 million action movie, and it definitely goes for it. It definitely knows what it's setting out to do, and it delivers on exactly what you promised. And you definitely get exactly what you come here for. Nothing is set in stone at all. And the performances and the chemistry of his cast, everyone has an emotional moment in this movie, and I mean everyone. Speaking off with Tom Holland, obviously this is the best performance for me personally that we've seen as this character. He's great in the last two movies and the other MCU movies he's done so far, but this is what I really get to think we finally get to see just how vulnerable Peter really is. You see how vulnerable he is. You see that he cannot get himself out of the situation with the help of the Avengers. He has to do this on his own and truly learn what it means to be Spider-Man. And with this mission he has to do with the multiverse opening and all these other villains who are still played by the same actors like Alfred Molina and Jamie Foxx and Willem Dafoe. I think that is also really well done. All of that, I think those actors are still very great in the roles. Obviously, there is some de-aging with Alfred Molina, but it's still very well done. And Jamie Foxx as Electro, I liked him a lot better here than in Amazing Spider-Man 2. I didn't have a problem with him in Amazing Spider-Man 2, but here he's much more laid back, much more different. And he's very much better in this time around. And also his new design is really great. Willem Dafoe as Green Goblin. I got nothing else to say about Willem Dafoe as this character. He's awesome. Very awesome in here. Zendaya and Jacob Batalon as MJ and Ned, they're really good too. I also really like Jon Favreau as Happy once again. Marissa Tomei as Aunt May. Not in this movie very much, but I think she's also really good. Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. It is awesome to see more Doctor Strange because I do love that character, and I definitely can't, especially after this movie, can't wait to see what more they're going to do with him. So I think all of that is really well done. And as for the other two Spider-Man actors, I won't say where they show up, but I will say they're in here. And throughout the movie, I did find myself getting a little bit emotionally sentimental because seeing all this play out. It definitely is basically a fan film come to life in front of your very eyes. And that's what I very much loved about it. This being a fan film for us, and I very much appreciated that, and I respected that. This is the ultimate fan film as a huge fan of this character, and it delivered. It delivered on the promises that it set out to do. Of course, the score by Michael Giacchino is still great. It's much more intense. It's much more thrilling this time around, but it's still very much a great score. And you feel the pressures of everyone on here. There is even some moments in here that are unexpected and pretty surprising here. Very well done and very ambitious on their part. Everything in this comes together very well. And like I said, with the writer and director and the crew involved, this easily could have been a mess, but they handled this with so much care, and I definitely respect it for that. Definitely respected this movie a lot for that. And just also, you get to just be involved with everything that's going on as well. And I'm invested, and it definitely sets up what we can see more of this version of Peter Parker in the future movies, because Holland, he is going to stay on. He keeps saying he's not. He's going to be back. We all know that, as well as future Spider-Man and some characters that we might see. It just plays out well. It plays out very well. Also, touching on the humor and the comedy and the emotional weight, this movie definitely does have its humor, just like the last two, because you can have a Spider-Man movie without humor. It's part of a very light character. But the emotional weight and the dramatic moments are still there, and it is on display. Full display. Definitely love that. I love that. what, and the heart of the first two movies is still there. It's not like they sleptwalk through this. For a movie that they were making during the pandemic and such, it's a miracle that they were able to pull this off at all. And without spoiling anything, there's a lot of Easter eggs, there's a lot of fan service, and there's a lot of nostalgia here. So I definitely love that about the film, and you definitely got to get everything you want in a Spider-Man movie this scale. I'm gonna be completely honest and say I can't find a single thing wrong with this movie. I have nothing negative to say about this. That's how happy I am about it. No negatives. Overall, Spider-Man No Way Home. Damn, I love this movie. This movie is awesome. I love this. This is my favorite of the Holland era thus far. And I can't wait for more of Tom Holland's interpretation, especially where this movie ends. This movie took a bold risk in dealing with the identity crisis from the last movie, but also dealing with the multiverse. Delivered on the action and spectacle, the emotional stakes are there, the weight is there. This is the best performance of Tom Holland yet. You get some great nostalgia moments, great fan service. The emotional weight is fantastic. I love the directing, the action scenes, the cinematography, the musical score, the cast, the screenplay. Everything about No Way Home delivered. This is definitely going to make money. If this doesn't get to $1 billion, then at least it'll make enough money. But I'm just very happy that this was not a convoluted mess. Because this easily could have been The Amazing Spider-Man 2 all over again. But what this movie and Spider-Verse showed me is that anything is possible. And I can't wait to see Jon Watts take on the Fantastic Four. I think he's going to do a great job when it comes to that first family of comics, because they desperately need this after the 2015 movie was bad. And I believe that Miles Morales in this movie is not there for nothing. He is definitely not there for nothing. It earns the mentions that in this movie, which I won't spoil, but everything is coming together so well. And the Spider-Verse in live action, it is, in the words of Agent Smith, inevitable. So if you definitely are excited for No Way Home, definitely go check this out. This movie's awesome. Go see it. Go see this. This is getting my Spider-Verse seal of approval without a freaking doubt. So in the comment section down below, what did you guys think of it in the comments down below? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Are you somewhere right in the middle? Let's talk about this amazing movie. Spoiler free, by the way. No spoilers. Go spoiler free. All my social media links in the description box down below. If you'd like to send money to my Cash App, you can do that as well. It's in the description box. You want some fan mail, my Amazon wishlist is in the description box. Be sure to follow all my social medias. Be sure to like this video, comment, share this video, because it does help the channel grow, and it does help people get to know this channel. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to get notified with videos like this. And I'm sorry guys, be on the lookout for a spoiler talk coming soon. I'm so sorry. I'm very happy. Let's talk about this. I'll see you guys later.